This happened back when I was 13 years old. Back then, I had a close friend named Aiden. He was a couple years older than me, but we still got along, mainly because our houses were right next to each other. The rest of our neighborhood was mostly filled with older people, so we didn't really have anyone else to play with.
Deep in the heart of Blackwood, Pennsylvania, hidden within a stretch of dense, uncharted forest, there stands a cabin that should not exist. No records mention its construction. No locals claim to own it. It is a place swallowed by time, obscured by the towering trees, and whispered about in hushed voices among those who dare to speak of it at all. Those who stumble upon it experience an overwhelming sense of dread, as if something unseen is watching, waiting. Some say it's a doorway to something sinister. Others claim it is alive, a trap disguised as shelter. Many have reported seeing it, but few have lived to tell the full story. But the most terrifying incident, the one that cemented this cabin's place as one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries in Pennsylvania, occurred in November of 1997, when a group of hikers took shelter there for the night. Only one of them ever made it out. What happened within those walls remains one of the most chilling, unexplained cases in the state's history. This is their story. The origin of the cabin, a place that shouldn't exist. The Blackwood Forest has long been shrouded in mystery, its history riddled with strange disappearances and eerie folklore dating back centuries. Local Native American tribes refused to settle there, claiming the land was cursed. When European settlers arrived in the 1700s, they attempted to build a small community, but records indicate the settlement was mysteriously abandoned within just a few years. No one knows why. By the 1800s, loggers and trappers who ventured too deep into the forest began to disappear. Some were found days later, wandering aimlessly in a daze, unable to explain where they had been. Others were never seen again. But the first recorded sighting of the cabin occurred in 1912, when a farmer searching for his lost livestock stumbled across it. He entered, seeking shelter from the coming storm. He was never seen again. When a search party arrived the next morning, they found his footprints leading up to the cabin, but none leading away. The inside was completely empty. His body was never found.
Brace yourself for the literal terror I'm about to share with you. I don't even know if this is the place for a story like this, but I can't think of anywhere else to talk about it, and I just need to put it out there. I've told everyone under the sun about this. My family, my neighbors, my friends, random news outlets. It's never enough. I can't really explain it, but I feel some weird obligation to inform as many people as possible about what's been happening to me. So here goes.
Over the years, more people claimed to have seen the cabin, but never in the same location twice. Some described it as old, dust-covered, and abandoned. Others swore it looked as if someone had just been living there, with a warm fire still burning. The 1997 incident, a night of terror. On November 13, 1997, a group of 5 college students from Pittsburgh, Mark Dawson, Amy Walker, Chris Mallory, Jessica Reed, and Eric Stanton, set off on a weekend hiking trip. They were experienced, well-prepared, and familiar with the terrain, but nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to encounter. A brutal snowstorm hit unexpectedly, forcing them off their planned route. With night falling and temperatures dropping fast, they desperately searched for shelter. That's when they saw it. The cabin stood in a clearing, its wooden structure old but intact. It seemed out of place, as if it had been waiting for them. At first, they felt relief. Inside, they found old furniture, a fireplace, and a large wooden table with chairs as if someone had been expecting them. But then, the unease set in. The cabin door slammed shut on its own. Cold spots moved through the room, despite the roaring fire. Then came the whispers, soft, unintelligible voices drifting from the walls. At exactly 12:03 a.m., Mark Dawson let out a scream. The others rushed over to find him standing in front of the attic door, his face white with terror. His hands trembled as he whispered, "There's something up there." Then they all heard it, slow, deliberate footsteps. Something was moving above them. The disappearance of Amy Walker. Terrified, they tried to leave, but the door wouldn't open. It was as if an unseen force was holding it shut. Then, without warning, Amy gasped, clutching her throat as if something invisible was choking her. She struggled, eyes wide in terror, unable to breathe. Before anyone could react, she was violently yanked backward, dragged toward the attic door by an unseen force. She'd screamed as she disappeared into the darkness above. Then, silence. The attic was empty. Amy was gone. Desperate and terrified, the remaining four smashed open a window and fled into the snow. They didn't stop running until they reached a gas station miles away, where they called the police. But when authorities returned to investigate the next morning, the cabin was gone. No structure, no footprints. Amy Walker was never found. The haunting that followed. The surviving members refused to speak publicly about what happened, except for Chris Mallory, who came forward years later, claiming that the cabin had followed him. It started with small, unexplainable things. Doors unlocking on their own, objects moving slightly out of place, the feeling of being watched, even when he was alone. But then, the disturbances became more sinister.
Aiden and I had both agreed to make the woods the playing area for this round. I remember wanting to make it a challenge, so I headed out further than I usually did. Quickly, I started to regret this. It got very dark away from any house lights. By this point, I couldn't see any lights whatsoever. Considering Aiden had the only flashlight, this made traversing the woods especially difficult.
He reported waking in the middle of the night to find his bedroom door wide open, despite locking it before bed. He swore he could hear faint whispers drifting through the darkness, just like they had in the cabin. Then came the 3 slow, deliberate knocks on his walls at precisely 12:03 a.m., the same time they had heard footsteps above them in the attic that terrifying night. One morning, he woke up to find a thick layer of dust covering his furniture overnight, identical to the dust that had coated every surface in the cabin. It was as if something had followed him back, bringing a piece of that cursed place with it. Then, in 2012, Chris vanished without a trace. His car was found abandoned near Blackwood Forest. The driver's side door was left wide open, as if he had stepped out voluntarily. His footprints led into the trees, but never came back out. Despite an extensive search, no trace of him was ever found. To this day, he remains missing. What lurks inside? What is the truth behind the Blackwood cabin? Why does it only appear to the lost? Why does it take some and let others go? Some believe it isn't haunted, but alive. A trap disguised as a safe haven, feeding on those who seek shelter within. And some say that if you talk about it too much, it will find you. So if you ever find yourself lost in the woods and stumble across a cabin that shouldn't be there, turn around. Do not go inside, because if you do, you may never leave. The Blackwood cabin is still out there, waiting. It chooses who sees it. It chooses who it takes. So if you ever hear 3 knocks at your door in the middle of the night, do not answer. Some places never let you go. If you love spine-chilling true horror stories, subscribe for more terrifying tales. Turn on notifications, because the next story might just be about you. Have you ever encountered something paranormal? Share your story in the comments, if you dare.